10 Golden Films of Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing was born in Surrey, England in 1913. Cushing was one of Britain's best acting talents. He appeared in 91 theatrical films, 18 television films, and numerous television shows. But he's best known for the 22 cult horror films he made for Hammer Studios in the 1950s through the 1970s. Cushing was a true gentleman and meticulously prepared actor. He was mild in person but a formidable presence on the screen. Whether he was playing Sherlock Holmes, Vampire Hunter Van Helsing, Dr. Frankenstein, Doctor Who, or Grand Moff Tarkin, he captivated the audience with his piercing pale blue eyes, chiseled cheekbones, and eloquent speech. He first captivated me when I came across him in a late-night horror film when I was 6 years old. He still captivates me today. Number 10. Tales from the Crypt, 1972. This is an anthology film telling 5 short stories. So Cushing's time on screen isn't long, but he's wonderful as a dead man who rises from the grave and tries to get back to his life. Number 9. Star Wars, 1977. Another small part, but one that's remembered by millions decades later. Only Peter Cushing could scold Darth Vader. Number 8. Hamlet, 1948. Laurence Olivier's classic film adaptation of Shakespeare's Melancholy Dane has Peter Cushing in a role very different than those that would make his fame. Here he plays the foppish Osric. Number 7. Doctor Who and the Daleks, 1965. A year before anyone had any idea that the Doctor could regenerate into different forms, allowing multiple actors to play the role, another actor was cast for the theatrical version of Doctor Who to appeal to American audiences. Instead of William Hartnell, the film starred Peter Cushing and was made by Amicus Films, not the BBC. Number 6. Cash on Hand, 1962. Peter Cushing plays a bank manager forced to facilitate a robbery of his own bank when his family's taken hostage. His character's a jerk, making his task harder and are rooting for him harder, but Cushing pulls it off. Number 5. 1984, 1954. This isn't a theatrical film. It was made for broadcast on the BBC as part of their BBC Sunday Night Theatre, of which Peter Cushing appeared in 13 shows. It's largely a play. While exterior shots and some scenes were pre-filmed, much of the story was performed live. Cushing plays Winston Smith, the protagonist in Orwell's Everyman. Number 4. The Twins of Evil, 1971. After their parents die, 2 young women, twin sisters, go to live with their stern, religious zealot uncle, played by Peter Cushing. Their new home is near the castle of Count Karnstein, an evil and debauched vampire. One of the sisters is lured into Karnstein's web. The sisters are played by Madeline and Mary Collinson, whom together were Playboy's Miss October in 1970. Number 3. Dracula, aka Horror of Dracula, 1958. Christopher Lee has barely a dozen lines in this film, but his presence is strong throughout, showing him to be a wonderful casting choice to play the vampire Dracula. Peter Cushing plays Van Helsing for the first of 5 times. Here, as in the original story, he appears on the scene while investigating the disappearance of his friend, Jonathan Harker. Number 2. The Hounds of Baskerville, 1959. Peter Cushing makes an excellent Sherlock Holmes. He also played Holmes in 16 episodes of a BBC television series. Unfortunately, 10 of those episodes have been lost. Here's to hoping that while searching for missing Doctor Who episodes in Africa, someone finds Cushing's Holmes. Christopher Lee plays Sir Henry Baskerville, the new heir to the Baskerville estate. Like his forebears, he appears to be targeted by vicious hounds on the moors. Number 1. Curse of Frankenstein, 1957. Peter Cushing begins his run of 6 films playing Baron Frankenstein, the mad genius who plays God and creates life. Christopher Lee plays his first creation, the monster who everyone tends to mistakenly name after his creator. Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee appear in 21 films altogether. This is their first Hammer film together. Earlier, they both had parts in Olivier's Hamlet and Huston's Moulin Rouge. Other films considered for this list include The Flesh and the Fiends, 1960, The Skull, 1965, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, 1969, The Creeping Flesh, 1972, Horror Express, 1972, The Brides of Dracula, 1960, and The Mummy, 1959. What would make your list? The world is filled with stories going viral every single day. But how many of these sites can you actually follow? We understand that your day should start with positive stories, stories that resonate with you. And so we started JoJo Stories. Our mission is to create meaningful stories that cover everything from animals to anthropology, history to environment and lifestyle. The kind of content you read on our site will be one you'll want to share with your family and friends. We hope you'll join our growing family and be part of our community. Welcome to JoJo Stories, jojostories.com.